Welcome, racers. How's it going, everyone? We are back. It is iRacing Season 4 2024, and we're back in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Championship class in A class in iRacing official session. And lo and behold, we're back in a GT3 car. We're in the brand new one for the season. We're in the McLaren 720. It only came out, I think we're on day 3 that it's been out. So I only drove it about for the first time a few hours ago. Josiah Replica Racing threw a livery together really quick. It's not totally a finished product yet, but at least we got our right colors and some of our logos on there. We'll have a finished product next week. But yeah, we're back. The only thing that really hasn't changed is the fact that we're back in Indy, which is a track that if you go back 2 seasons, we won at the week that it was on the schedule. So yeah, it's going to be a fun one. From the initial laps that I did earlier today, it is very similar to the way that the Ferrari drives. It does sound a little bit better. I like a lot of the dash features a lot better. The traction control comes in a little bit more progressively, I find. It's really good on the brakes. I think we're going to be fast. I know everyone's probably expecting, if you're familiar with iRacing, that the McLaren, considering that it's new content and they want everyone to buy it, that it's going to have a competitive advantage. I don't know anything about that. I'm not an alien. I'm just a lowly 2300 iRating driver. So all we're going to do tonight, we are unfortunately sans Angelo. He's out at a real racetrack doing real race car engineering thing somewhere. So because this is totally new to us, I think what we decided is that we're just going to stick with the stock medium downforce sprint setup for the car. And we're just going to run through it. And it really, the benefit for us going forward tonight is just going to be that I need to spend time driving this thing in a reasonable setup, and I don't want to go chasing setup changes. I feel comfortable that I can make a couple changes to change how it feels myself without Angelo being here, but I think there's going to be more yielded in just driving the same car all night. So anyway, thank you so much for joining us again after our hiatus last week. As I'm sure you can tell by now, we now have our thanks to TJ being back in town, we now have our Greg cam. So I'm kind of in the center screen here for now, and then we're just going to switch back and forth between the action all night long. So yeah, as usual, we've got our normal crew back there. We've got Garrett Huizinga spotting and crew chiefing for us. TJ from More Podiums is back in the building, back in Florida after a nice family vacation that they've been on for a couple weeks. And then Daphne's back doing all the YouTube and Twitch chat and all the marketing moderation and whatnot. So yeah, so like I said, I did half a stint earlier today. That is all the time that I spent with the car. I didn't make any setup changes. I literally just drove the thing, and I wanted to get a baseline for it. So what I will say before we go driving here, there's a lot of things that just literally sitting here on the pit lane that I immediately see that I'm a big fan of. The dash display that we're looking at, we do have a physical dash that we have a lot of our own metrics on that we use here specifically in the sim, but the ones that we see on the screen I also use, and I intentionally set it up so I can look at both. I like the tire temperature and pressure display. It's a little easier for me to be able to see, and I like that it's color mapped. So when they're cold, you can see that they're blue, and then as they come up to operating temperature, it actually transitions to green. So even if I'm not able to physically look at what the numbers are, I can actually see just out of the corner of my eye based on color, kind of where I am in that. So that part's really nice. It's really visible, easy to see. The shift lights are a little bit different than they were on the Ferrari with where they come up and when they shift and when you're supposed to shift. So that's a little bit I'm just adjusting from one car to the other after driving the Ferrari for an entire season last year, or last season rather. I like that when we're on pit lane on the pit limiter, that it shows some nice information. It shows our speed with 2 decimal places for accuracy. It shows your fuel consumption when you're sitting on pit lane, so that part's really nice. And then when we're low on fuel, like in a qualifying mode, it doesn't override any of the information we kind of want to look at anyway. So anyways, let's get to it. How are you guys doing back there tonight?
Awesome. Very excited for a new season and a new car.
From what I saw in the practice earlier today, it looks like the McLaren is a very popular choice. So.
However, you got the Vet and the Ford, the American Muscle, leading the pack right now.
Yeah, I see that in this session. 125.2. The aliens I saw earlier today were in the very low 124s, and if not to the 123s. So I think my ideal time earlier today was in a mid 125, and I think I did a best time in like a high 25, but I just couldn't piece together a good lap. So
If I'm not mistaken, with this season's iRacing updates, I believe that they also kind of mixing up the field a bit to have a greater variety of people that would typically be top split as compared to bottom split, and kind of mixing in between the two. Did you read those same patch notes?
I did not get a chance to go through that in depth. What are you specifically talking about? That's very interesting. So they're not using just iRating to do that?
They wanted to have a greater, how you say it? All right, they wanted to have a greater spread. So if you look at the bell curve of like where people were at with like the splits, like the aliens were really high up there, and it was let me go to the iRacing notes so I don't completely butcher it and have the devs like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. So give me a second to get the release notes, and I'll be able to read it some verbatim.
I guess in the
yeah.
meantime, I'd like to ask, what would the benefits of having such like a spread out field be?
If they're doing what I think they are, where they just put all the aliens into one session and they kind of spread them over the top several splits. I mean, I'm sure they have some algorithm that does all that for them. That would be interesting because it'll have more of a performance disparity, and I think it gives some people more opportunities. I don't know. I'm not. It depends on how they do it, how that dynamic will unfold. But it could change the dynamic of how like the races work and who ends up on podium. And maybe it means the aliens just if drop an alien into a lower split, quote unquote, doesn't mean that they're just aliens are gonna win all the time, every split all the time. Hopefully that's not what that means. But I'm sure they put a lot of consideration into it. So I'm curious to see what it is, TJ.
Yeah, I can't imagine they just drop aliens into lower splits and just say like, yeah, we're spreading out like the concentration, because then that would just be unfair and
Yeah.
win some aliens and no one really have fun. To be fair.
Yeah.
Okay, breaking news. That was breaking 8 days ago. Very new multi-class official series distributed splits algorithm. This new algorithm in use for selected series will improve manufacturer diversity while also maintaining optimal competitive grouping, creating more realistic looking splits.
Okay, so that all sounds cool, but it doesn't really explain what it is exactly that they're doing. They're like, are they using like some sort of BOP adjustment to like? I don't know what that actually converts to.
Are they doing like a dynamic BOP? I guess something like that. Is that kind of what I'm hearing? Or like they're adjusting the BOPs like per split, or like I'm also very confused. I felt like I had an answer there, and I confused myself with this. So very, very vague.
All right, now I apologize, guys. So let me log in here. Cue the Jeopardy music.
We don't have the licensing for that. Don't do that. So yeah, additional takes on this. Like I said, I did like half a stint earlier today. Compared to the Ferrari, which is another mid-engine, twin turbocharged GT3 car. So overall, I was expecting this to feel similar to the Ferrari, and not as big of a characteristic difference from like the AMG, which is a front-engine rear-wheel drive car. This is an equally mid-engine dynamics to it. This feels very similar. It was not a foreign feeling that I feel like I need to like relearn how to drive or anything like that. The things it does a little better that I like is that it seems to be a little bit more predictable and intuitive to drive. Ferrari, regardless of setup, was sometimes very knife edge, and you're always trying to keep the rear under it. Whereas this feels a little more planted, and you can trust it in a couple of places. You still have to be careful not to burn the rear tires off the car and over-rotate it, which iRacing kind of does their own tire modeling penalty system for that, with how you can over-abuse the rear tires. That I like. I think the TC engagement with how much it comes on and when it comes on specifically is different, which I really like. What I will say about that is that in real life, both the McLaren, Porsche does it, the Ferrari does it, and all the GT3 cars that have been developed in the last several years, not the older ones, perhaps like the AMG or the Audi or whatnot. There's two adjustments of traction control in the real car. You have a TC1 and a TC2. I don't remember which one is which, but generally speaking, they're the open loop and the closed loop portion of that. So in non-engineering speak, that's the when does TC come on and how much does it come on. So in a real car, you're able to adjust both of those elements. In iRacing here, they kind of simplify it and kind of combine those, so you're not able to adjust them independently from each other. Not sure why. Maybe it's just because it's too complex of a thing for people to play with, or they're not. Maybe the software can't model those kind of differences in real time. Not really sure the answer why, but in any case, that exists in real life. But my point is that the way that the TC is modeled here in the McLaren feels a little bit different. It comes on, I think it comes in a little bit earlier, but less aggressively, I think. Still getting a little bit more comfortable with it, but it just comes on a little bit differently. So the point is that when you roll on the throttle, the way the traction control engages just feels a little bit different, and frankly, a little bit better than the Ferrari did, in my opinion. Still getting comfortable. Okay, that is not summary pass, Mr. GTP. Braking performance, very good in this car. I would say it's very close to what the Ferrari was, if not slightly better, depending on some conditions. There's a couple times where I've done the braking points that I knew would work in the Ferrari here, and I was still overslowing, and I actually managed to find another 10, 20, 30 meters of braking distance. So that part's really nice. Seems to have great, again, I'm just running the medium downforce setup. It seems to have really good aerodynamic balance front and rear. I know turn 14 here is, you have to be very careful with it, and it is a medium speed to high speed corner, so you have to be a little careful with that. So that's just a matter of balancing the rear wing position. But, yeah, what else? Visibility is really good out of this car. I don't think I have nothing negative to say. There's no blind spots. The window nets aren't in the way. We don't use just to save on graphics rendering performance, I don't use the rear view camera that's built into the car. I just use the camera that you guys see up above, so I'm not rendering the same image twice. But obviously having that in real life is a huge lifesaver. So, not doing my best laps right now because I'm talking to you guys, but what do you guys think back there?
So, did more research, and the investigation was inconclusive. iRacing is very tight-lipped.
So they're telling us that they did something cool, but they're not actually really telling us exactly what it is.
They're not telling you how the sausage is made, but they will give you an indicator if they're messing with the way that they're doing the splits and the diversity of the BOP or the manufacturers. I don't know what that indicator is, but they've given you an indicator.
Can you read the statement again one more time?
Yeah. It sounds like some word salad.
It's nice and slow. Picking apart piece by piece.
Overslowed out.
The simulation section of the Season 4 release notes. Official Racing. iRacing has developed a new distributed splits algorithm for multi-class official series that takes vehicle manufacturers and iRating into account for an optimal experience. This new distributed splits algorithm will be rolled out selectively, and there will be an indicator for series and events that use it.
Do we know that this IMSA series is one that uses it? Is there any way we can look that up?
Let me go to the Reddit.
Reddit always has the answers. I like how Reddit has become the ultimate search engine for everything, even better than any of these AI searches. There we go, that's a good lap. 6.5, that's about normal for about the amount of tires that I have on right now.
I'm coming up short on the Reddits. I think that we might be the first nerds diving this deep into it.
Okay, alright, well, So what was that? Do they have a fancy trade name for what that was all called?
No, they've kept it very, very ambiguous.
iRacing.
They just simply displayed it as new multi-class official series distributed splits algorithm, and in the proper page, not in the dev like text notepad editor release notes, but in like the one that's been formatted by marketing, they actually don't even include anything about iRating being included. They only state stuff about car manufacturers.
Interesting. Yeah, maybe there's some way that they factor the different performance from different cars into how these splits are determined. Like if you're in the, I mean, maybe based on past results, they look at like the car, the McLaren, for instance, is going to be king of the hill for a couple of weeks. Maybe they kind of use that to offset. Like if you have a lower I rating but you're in the faster car, they use that to offset someone who's in a slower car with a higher I rating, or some sort of trickery with that. I don't know. VOP and I rating meet each other, I guess. I don't know. Speculation. Let's see if we learn something more about it tonight. Are we getting any chat messages on any of those streams? Because I'm not sure I'm able to see them up above right now.
We've been discussing what we think it is.
Okay.
Sorry, but not on the chat because
Okay.
multiple voices. I feel like McLaren has something to do with it, and there's some skin in the game.
Yeah, well,
You know,
maybe
it's
McLaren.
8 days ago. McLaren just came out. I don't know.
A part of me almost feels like it could be referencing, like in a situation where you have a really high I rating player, or someone who performs extraordinarily high in their I rating split in a very, very competitive car, because we all know there are more competitive cars than others per week. And maybe if, like, depending on how you perform in your splits and your I rating compared to your I rating, and the car you're in, maybe it adjusts where you're placed to more about like to kind of even out the balance performance. Even if you're like a 2.3, it might be like a 3.2, depending on how you're performing in that car. That way, it kind of evens out all the BOP of the different field. It seems like it'd be a reasonable way of handling things. I don't know if that's how iRacing is going to handle it, but if that's the case, that'd be kind of interesting.
If that's the case, I think it's really, in my opinion, really stupid, because the whole point of multi-class, or not multi-class, but multi-manufacturer racing, is that every car has its own dynamics. As much as we want to make the BOP and kind of like the, however we look at the long-term performance of the car so that it's fair over the length of a championship or over a race, some cars are supposed to just have strengths. Like Porsches are always going to have a lot of rear end stability and a lot of rear drive off. Longer wheelbase cars like the Mercedes or the Mustang are always going to have really good straight line performance. Mid-engine cars are going to change direction quickly. Like that, if they're over-equivalating all of the cars and even factoring in driver ratings into that, like, I hope that's not what they're doing, because they're over-engineering the whole point of multi-manufacturer racing. I hope that's not what the case is, but I guess we're gonna find out. And based on what I'll also say on the note of our live stream is that based on some of the positive feedback and the viewership numbers that we saw from the final week of last season, where we did the additional hour, I jumped into an MX-5 race afterwards. We changed up some of the camera angles. I think we're going to start doing a couple more of those different format ones every so often, depending on our availability. So we might have earlier start times, but we'll announce it on our own social media and everything well ahead of time. So
now I'm wondering if it was that little Miata race.
Yeah, is that what it took?
That's all it took to get all those views. Yeah, our
Like
best
MX-5?
performing. Yeah, the MX-5
Yeah.
race.
That I
Honestly,
literally jumped into
truly,
the lab of practice.
it was truly entertaining.
I'm glad it was.
Truly entertaining, yeah. Very spur of the moment. I feel like we should do more of those, like, mini ones. That was like a 15-minute race, right?
Yeah, I can just jump in and do them anytime. Or Ferrari Challenge, or literally.
I mean,
any
I
of
feel
those.
like we talked about it last, or whatever, 2 weeks ago, but I feel like you should just go kind of off the wall and do something extreme.
I'll let the viewers tell us what they want us to see. If we got
Anyone
everyone-
watching, as extreme as you can get, Greg will listen to you more than me, so go ahead.
Yeah.
Please do. Dr. Mike, what do you got?
Yeah. What do you want to see?
Trophy
15
truck?
minutes
Trophy
to wrap up the show
trucks?
at the end of the day. Yeah, what do you want to see?
Drag racing? What do you want to see? Yeah.
What time do we have? Can I move into the race lobby yet? Probably. Well, out breaking myself.
It's 8:20, so I think that's been open for 5 minutes.
Okay.
Just an FYI, we are dealing with, a casual technical issue back here. If you don't hear us, just letting you know.
Okay.
All good.
We'll just open the door.
We'll just open the door and scream at you, yeah.
Are you talking to me or the viewers or all of
All
the
of the, yes, all of the above.
Okay.
If you hear lapse in speech, then perhaps that's just us
Okay.
working back here. Yep. But yes, you can jump into the lobby. I don't know if you heard that.
Okay. Yeah, no, I did.
Okay.
I'll just keep talking to myself.
And Dr. Mike said he loves watching it all. Dr. Mike, I need
All right.
something more specific, though. Like, what do you want to see Greg drive? As off the wall as you can get, please. Thank you.
Good pit entry. This is a good pit. This is a good pit entry pit lane. Y'all keep freezing. Okay.
Okay. Sorry about that.
Where is my homie? There he is. Where is the lollipop? There it is. Hey, look, it's me. I think I mentioned it before, but the number of times that I've worked with CP Racing, and I was calling strategy with them in some of the endurance races we did with the Mercedes GT3, I was, in addition to doing strategy, I was also the lollipop operator. So I kind of always joke that I'm driving up to myself, because the guy kind of does look like me, except I didn't wear a helmet and a racing suit when I did it. So, all right, let's move over to the race lobby. So yeah, the McLaren, like I said, I'm overall very impressed with it. It is not a huge departure from the Ferrari. I think I'd have to drive them back to back really closely to start picking apart the differences. But I'm finding that it's a very natural transition from one to the other. When I went from the Mercedes, which was again front engine, rear wheel drive, to the Ferrari, which was mid engine, and totally different aerodynamic package, that was a huge deviation for me. That took a lot of time, and frankly, I think it's also down to the fact that the Mercedes was a much older car build on iRacing. The Ferrari's a new one. The McLaren is only, I think the Ferrari only came out 3 or 4 seasons ago, so it's also relatively fresh. So the cars just feel very similar to each other. I think they feel different. I'm sure they feel very close to the way the real cars do. I have not driven either in real life yet. Believe me, if anyone has either of them and wants another driver, I'm here. But yeah, I think it's really solid. I think it sounds really cool. I know that the modern turbocharged GT cars don't always sound as impressive as the naturally aspirated ones do, but I think it sounds great. It sounds better than, I hate saying this as a diehard Ferrari guy. It sounds a lot better than the Ferrari does. The V6 twin turbo.
Let's be real, the Ferrari is missing 6 cylinders.
Yeah, it's missing 6. If it had another 6, even or 2 or 4 or 6 cylinders, it would sound better. But
Could you just
Ferraris,
imagine a little like 2.5 or 3 liter V12 like screaming out to like 9,000 RPM, maybe just turbocharge the little thing, rip it out to 8,000, just call it a
Yeah.
day.
When they did the 2.4 liter V10s, I think it was 2.4. The V10s that they did, that was the best sounding engine combination they ever did, in my opinion. V12s also obviously fantastic, but If it doesn't have double-digit cylinders, it's not going to sound that good. All for turbo noises, but they're just making up for the fact that we didn't have more cylinders. Something, no replacement for displacement, but F1 engines only needed 2 liters to make some cool sound. How's Greg's driving on dirt? I have very little practice on the dirt, but we can try it later if you want to see how awfully bad I am. Might need a
Yes,
different
great.
steering wheel.
Let's do that.
Yeah? Okay. So something else I just discovered this afternoon is a small observation. Indy has such a long pit lane that I was just sitting here on pit limiter and I'm just at full throttle, not paying attention. The way you drive a car in pit lane in real life is you can just hold it at full throttle or 50% throttle. Either way, the limiter's doing all the job for me. What I notice watching my fuel capacity is when I'm at full throttle, it's drinking fuel, and then I roll off to 30% throttle. Again, same speed, and it's not using any fuel at all. So I discovered that iRacing's fuel consumption calculation is 100% dependent on simply throttle the pit lane speed limit run or anything. So, lesson is, during a racing situation, you do not want to be at full throttle on pit limiter because I think from what I saw earlier today at a long pit lane like Indy, if you're full throttle all the way down pit lane during the race, you've burned an entire liter of fuel, which, is make or break. Here at Indy, we're burning about 2.5 liters a lap, so that's, at least a full sector of the racetrack of fuel that you just burn needlessly because your fuel was all the way down. So, I mean, maybe that's common knowledge, but I just learned that today. And again, I never thought about that because it's not something that we actually worry about in real life, because a pit limiter on a real race car just cuts ignition and fuel. So you can do whatever you want with your right foot when you're on the pit limiter because the speed's controlled. That anyway, so
I got
iRacing could do better. What's that?
something for you.
Okay.
So if you wanted to, whenever you have a moment, you can also, with how you see in your relatives up there in the upper part of the screen near your rear mirror,
Yep.
in Race Lab, you do have different widgets that you could put your fuel consumption or fuel burn as a part of a view. So I know that it's there within fuel used, but it's not telling you your fuel burn. So maybe that could help you out, give you a good advantage.
Yeah, well, what I do have already, just in an effort to try to, I know I've got a lot of stuff cluttered on the screen that, believe it or not, I am looking at everything that's on the screen in front of me. On the dash, the physical dash display that's in front of me, I do see my fuel consumption rates in terms of in real time and average, projected numbers of lap left. I see all that in front of me. So you guys, unfortunately, are not able to see that on the live stream. So when you start spitting out the fuel numbers, you're probably like, where is he getting that? It's because you're not able to see this dash display right in front of me right here. Which I believe is the Precision Sim Engineering, I'm not sure the model number, but it's a Precision Sim Engineering dash display that CXC integrates into their sims, I believe. But yeah, I think, TJ, what you're talking about, it essentially shows the same information right on the screen itself. So that's really good to have if you're not looking at it already, but...
True.
With my awesome command center team back there, you guys can help me with the math on that. I know Garrett and I were already talking about race distance and consumption rates and refueling. So the fuel capacity in the McLaren overall in an endurance race is 110 liters. In IMSA, because it is a quote-unquote sprint format, we're limited to 50% fuel capacity, which means that we're allowed to take 55 liters from the start of the race, and then however much we need to finish after that. So the Ferrari, it was 104 liters total and allowed 52 in this category. And I'm trying to remember what the Mercedes was. I don't know what that was offhand. I want to say it was the same as the McLaren here. Or 54. It was off by a liter or two. No. Okay. Oh, he is committed going through that grass over there. Now he's just going to send it through the apex, aren't you? Yep. one of the earlier practice sessions I was doing today, there's a guy just doing full speed laps around. Come on, dude. There's a guy doing full speed laps around the speedway version of the track in reverse. So he would just be randomly showing up in braking zones and whipping by in the middle of the corner. That was really fun. I'm not sure how that's even allowed to happen in an official practice, but if it's allowed, people are going to do it. All right. Still need to push that braking zone deeper. I don't know what to do with myself without Angelo being here asking me endlessly what we want to do with the setup.
You could always just take wing out of it.
I mean, I guess that's always an option.
Act like a pseudo Angelo, just like a really, really dumb one.
One-dimensional.
Yeah.
And here comes his prototype. Just he owns a place.
God. He looks very happy now.
He's unhappy. He's the one driving like a maniac.
So talk to me, Craig. What do you feel right now? How's the roll? How's the front chassis? I think these are your things that pseudo Angelo would say.
Yeah. I feel like I can place the car really well. I'm still playing with trying to balance the braking points and the release. I definitely feel a difference in the way the release of the brake pedal and the trailing brake pressure phase feels. I'm still just trying to get comfortable with that. I feel like I'm picking up a big push in like the phase of the corner from when you turn the wheel until prior to apex. I think that the mid-corner braking trail feels a little bit better, but it just trying to understand that part a little bit better. In real life, what we would start looking at is what we call the brake bias migration, which is for anyone who's only ever played a sim before and never really worked with a real car, usually looking at brake bias and you're like, oh, okay, so for instance, in this car right now, it's set at 54%. Well, 54% when? At what time? How much braking pressure? In real life, when you go through a braking zone from, let's say we're gonna brake to 120 bar of brake pressure on the front master cylinder. When is the brake bias 54%? Is that at 100 bar of pressure? Is it at 50 bar of pressure? Is that on the initial application? Is it on the release? If you were to actually chart the brake bias through a whole braking zone, one, it's not the same value the whole time, and it's not even the same on the application as it is on the release. And that's because of a little engineering term we call some hysteresis. And without doing a whole engineering lecture on why that happens, it's just a very complicated thing that you spend a lot of time at a pro level playing with. And what it comes down to is that you start changing the sizes of the master cylinders, the length of the push rods on the master cylinders, and a whole bunch of other really small, geeky things that us engineers love to play with. But we can't do any of that here in iRacing. So I think we can change the master cylinder sizes, but I'm not sure how much that lays into how they calculate brake bias. So sorry for a very long-winded, complicated discussion on how brakes work on a race car, but yes. Car transitions really well. I really like how it changes direction, like in that 7, 8, 9, 10 complex there. Like how it rolls back and forth. I'm never having to overcorrect or undercorrect or anything like that. It's very predictable. I think it's great that the first track we're going to is something that's like Indy, because one, I know it really well from real worlds and from having raced it plenty here in both the Assetto Corsa and in iRacing. We actually won the race we did in the first season. It's also a very smooth track, and it has some. It's very smooth, so we're not looking at really playing with much high-speed damper setting stuff. We're not looking at really bumps or whatnot. I mean, we might have some curb strikes. Oh, Might have some curb strikes and whatnot. But overall, I think it's a good place to just get our feet wet with this thing. Like most cars on iRacing, it definitely rewards smoothness with the steering wheel and pedal usage. I think my driving style is that I like to have slightly faster hands. I like to be a little bit more active than the wheel with the steering wheel than iRacing tends to reward. So I'm always trying to get myself to slow that down a little bit. And what the way I simplify that for myself is I try to just lighten my grip on the wheel and make sure I'm just not like white knuckling and grabbing it and trying to fight the car too much. It's kind of, you have to go with the flow with the car and just kind of go along for the ride with it. But this car rewards it, but that's not to say a lot of the other ones also reward it too. So. One of the tough things here is this turn 14 at Indy. On really fresh tires, when they're at peak temperature, it's pretty easy to hold flat. As the tires start to wear out, it becomes harder and harder to hold flat every single time. But I've been adjusting my line a little bit. If you delay the turn in, go a little bit straighter, a little bit longer. This guy's just made contact. I find that it makes it a little bit more manageable. So that's going to something we're going to look at tonight in the race. How much time do you have until the race?
8 minutes.
All right. I did some brief qualifying running earlier. I'm not going to get carried away with that. I think really I just want to focus on driving tonight.
Right, no, how is Angelo here? I would be telling you that we were going to park the car and completely overhaul it and change everything you know about it. I prefer qualifying.
Let's throw the setup away and start over.
No, listen, start completely fresh with the last 5 minutes.
Yeah. It's terrible. Change it. Really, dude? Alright, well, he just... Thanks, fellow McLaren. Feeling the inter-team rivalry, like another McLaren duo I know somewhere. Was I Lando or Oscar in that?
That's a good question.
Was that team orders?
Daphne is team principal. Everybody must listen to her.
Daphne is Zach Brown.
Well, with this new power, no, I'm just joking. I would love for you to explain to me the helmet visor thing, because I've been thinking about it since we talked about it an hour ago, so please grace us with your knowledge.
Okay, so one of the most important things about being a race car driver
Is looking cool.
Is how cool you look when you're doing it. If you're not looking cool, then why are you even a race car driver at all? Like, if you can't be pseudo Steve McQueen, then what are we even doing here? What has this all been for?
What is this?
What has this all been for? So, one of the many ways that a race car driver can look cool is, especially in GT cars, in any open cockpit car, you always want your visor down all the way for the very obvious reasons of we don't want debris hitting our face at 180 miles an hour. But in GT cars, closed cockpit, debris is not as much of a thing. In theory, according to the rules, you're supposed to have your visor down, but it's not something that's always checked or policed very much, so it's a little bit more comfortable usually to have your visor open in a closed cockpit car, so you can have some air in your face. There's not a layer of stuff that's in front of your eyes all the time. So, the question is, how much do you pop your visor open? Does it go all the way? Does it go halfway? Does it go quarter of the way? Does it go 30% of the way? Does it go 2% of the way? Just have airflow. And the ultimate answer is just really halfway, in my opinion. It's just above the point where the top of the visor is just above where you're looking all the time. It makes you look super badass.
Nerd!
Yeah. And if you're not looking cool, what?
Quarter inch open.
Quarter inch open?
Quarter French Open.
According to
just
what?
Me.
Or is that that's you? Okay. I think Mr. Rodney Sandstorm on Instagram is very famous. That's Jordan Taylor's alter ego. He's very famous for discussing how much you pop your visor. Although every driver's got a different opinion on what the correct answer is.
Thanks. That's a lot of information that we all really needed to know back here.
Yeah, I mean, right? It is super important, you know, because I'm wearing a helmet and a visor right myself.
I do still think I think one of these races you should wear a helmet. Just for funsies. And we did get a call from our friends at Sabelt saying that we may also have some suits ready.
Totally overkill.
Which would be totally
Love
overkill. And I also love it. Yep.
I'll turn off your AC, and we'll use the
yeah, let's
we'll
make
use the
it real.
intercom, and I'll turn the bitrate down a little bit. It'll sound like an Xbox Live party. That'll be awesome.
Oh no, the way our
back to the 2007 era, you know.
we do have a way of hooking up the helmet into our chat system, so you guys can all be back there talking to us. And just from the nature of how it's set up, it's all race car hardware. It yeah, you get the same audio distortion as you would talking to a driver in a real car. So maybe we'll do that in a future session. I can tell you it's not as comfortable as driving here, but you know, again, you're not as cool as if you were doing it. So all right, maybe there'll be a full driver gear race when we do one of these nights.
Oh yeah, if you're not like making yourself absolutely miserable trying to have fun, then what are you doing?
Yeah, right.
If you aren't living into the absolute like most realistic as possible to the point you're not even enjoying it, then like, are you really even gaming or simulating?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll leave that for like one of those MX-5 races. I think that'd be hilarious.
Just that, yeah.
Yeah, that'd be so funny, like one of those quick races.
Yeah, for
also,
Q class, the sweatiest for Q class Miata driver.
Yes. Oh, we should get Max in here too. We have a question for you. How are you liking the new car? I got second in Silverstone on a fixed race. That's from Nelson.
Okay. Yeah, I really like the new car. Sounds really good. I like the dash display. I think it's fairly intuitive to drive compared to some of the other mid-engine cars here. GT3 class on iRacing. Overall, I really like it. I just need to spend a lot more time with it to get to know it better, and we haven't even touched playing with setup stuff yet. I'm not even going to dig into that menu on the stream tonight. I just want to drive the car as is without changing anything. And we'll go from there. But yeah, overall, I really like the thing. That same McLaren was getting awfully close to me, and then he crashed out on his own, trying to get too close to me again. So, not sure what that's all about.
Don't forget the broadcast before you jump into the lobby, and also
Yeah.
for anybody that is watching the live stream, you saw me realize that the camera angle has been changed up over the past 6 to 7 weeks in the command center, and it's time for me to come clean with you guys about stuff that I've been doing off camera. So I have a addiction to chips and guacamole, and I get chips and guacamole every Wednesday night, and I eat them off camera. But you guys just witnessed this for probably the first hour, and I would like to apologize to everybody who's watching me shove my face full of chips and guacamole. So, sorry, people of the internet.
Yeah, it's got to become a ritual for us that before the live stream we get Chipotle for everyone here, so it's really chips and guac night every time we stream. It hasn't come back to bite me yet, so.
Same.
Yeah.
Same. We're good.
That is it's not a great night for you to say that, Greg.
No.
Says the man with the, what are we calling it? A barf bucket?
Yeah.
A barf box?
A little side.
A little barf, a little side barf.
Oh, we're about to go into the session here in a second.
Perfect timing.
Yeah, good timing. So, I woke up on Monday morning, and sat up out of bed and realized that the whole world was spinning, and discovered I had a really bad vertigo, like all day, like couldn't go anywhere, couldn't watch TV, couldn't look at my phone, couldn't do anything. And it really was not fun. So, really thought I was going to have a terrible week and had to go to doctors and everything like that. Fortunately, things got really a lot, like 80% better for me yesterday. Whoa, okay, I was trying to stop the car. Things got significantly better for me yesterday, but I still just feel a little bit woozy. And then today, it's kind of been, I just have to keep my head pointed up this direction, and I feel okay. Even driving here in the sim, we're driving in real life. But out of an abundance of caution, we may have placed a barf bucket in here if something changes or if I suddenly don't feel great. So hopefully it doesn't come to that. No one needs to witness any of that.
If it comes to it, I'll just pull you out of the sim and finish the race. Don't worry.
We'll do an illegal driver change.
Well, and we were also informed by Garrett that you're not really supposed to do gross stuff on Twitch, so.
Or on YouTube, probably.
Probably on
That's-
YouTube, and
I
I'm
don't know
assuming
if
that's a
YouTube
gross
has
thing.
strict on it, but I know Twitch, if you are in fact going to barf, that we need to cover you up, or else we will get banned.
All right. Honestly, what I will say is that driving in real life here to work and then driving in the sim actually makes me feel better somehow. I don't know how, but it makes me feel better. Maybe it's because it's a place that I'm very finely in tune with what's going on, and it helps me kind of align what's going on in my inner ear. Not really sure. I think Daphne and I were in the pool over the weekend, and I went underwater, and nothing crazy, but like I think overnight something shifted in my ears, and my inner ear got very upset at me, and that's why when I got out of bed, I was like, "Whoa, this is not okay." So I'm mostly better now, but just prefacing everyone.
Do you think
Man,
you get some
whoa, look
water
at
in your
me
ear or
on the
something?
big camera. Huh?
It might have gotten some water in your ear or something. I don't know, but that's all I can
I
think of.
mean, I've been swimming my whole life, so I'm not sure any of that's different, but something
I
changed.
don't know.
I don't know. All right, let's see what split we end up in here. Doesn't look like top split, but it looks like a competitive one. Looks like I see some 3000s in GTP, some 2.9s in LMP2, and looks like top guy is a 2.7 in GT3. So we might be a little bit lower down in terms of iRating tonight. I'm okay with that. All right, let's see where our pit stall is. All right, before the pagoda and the pylon. So this is a very early. We're one of the very first pit stalls, so just be heads up with that for me, guys. I think we're looking at.
I'm sorry,
What's
go
that?
right ahead. Did you have your stall change again? Is that a reoccurrent theme, or was it just that one race where they got you with the oops a daisy?
I think it was just once that it happened. Like I literally checked it before the race, and then in the middle of the race, I think we were doing an enduro and offline, or we weren't streaming it, but we did an enduro, and yeah, it was like one of the first pit stalls when it was supposed to be one of the last. So we drove past pit lane and like had to like go past and then back up into this thing. And we wasted 10 seconds because iRacing decided to change that on us. So I always try to be very heads up with that. I still check it anyway, so I know, but I'm now conditioned to like immediately look every single time. So there's no surprises. Let's see what we can do in qualifying. I mean, I would love to crack off something that starts with a 125. I'm really finding with how short this track is and it being relatively cool track temperature. I think track temp is only 73. It looks like an evening session. That it's hard to get a lot of tire temperature in. By the start of the first lap, and even really the second lap, it's only really towards the end of your second fast lap that you get enough temp in for anything. So unfortunately, it's not like ideal conditions, but you know everyone's got to deal with it. So it's kind of how this works. So like always, we try to do a lot of heavy brake dragging through the out lap. Yeah, Dr. Mike, it's better today. And like you were telling me yesterday, I'm trying to really keep my head upright as best as I can, and that really has helped a lot. It's improving. Yeah, I just hope it keeps improving. I can function. It's just, you know, every time I bend over, it's like, oh, okay, all right, we need to not do that again. But we're managing. anyone watching, Dr. Mike is my chiropractor. So I was with him yesterday. He was helping me try some Epley maneuvers and whatnot. Get it sorted out. All right, let's see what I can do in qualifying here. Definitely going to take a little conservative. Temps are just starting to get into the 130s, which is still way too low. A little deep, but that's all right. Still fighting the cold tires a little bit. Don't want to throw it away on the first lap. All right, not bad. I think it's going to be a 126 something or other. I'm sure it's going to be on the money, 26.01. See if we can improve on that this week.
All right, show us the money, Greg. Tires are now just finally coming alive. There we go. That'll be a mid 25. I'll take it. Nice. Great lap.
25.4. All right, so
Tires seem to really go up the temp pretty quick on that second lap.
yeah,
They were like 100, they were high 150s, so like you're getting to the point you have some pretty decent grip. Like I was kind of worried you're gonna like kind of lose it a little bit, but clearly that thing hooks up pretty well. And it was cool
Yeah.
seeing you got the confidence to like really push it in the cold tires too.
it feels a little easier to drive on cold tires than the Ferrari. I really think. I think it's still you have lower grip, but something about it just makes it feel a little bit more comfortable. Like it's less likely to do something unpredictable, I think. I didn't see what my fuel consumption was, but we can always kind of work with that on the fly. I think we were looking at 2.57 liters a lap before when we were practicing, and you said what was the number of laps we had done? We were looking at for a race distance, Garrett.
32 laps. That is
In-
including a pace lap.
Okay, we do a full pace lap here, so that turns into I think a 30-liter fuel add.
Yes, there's 30 liters of fuel and left tires.
Okay, so we're going to add 30. The car can only hold 55. That means whenever we get below 25 liters, we can take enough fuel to get to the end. So, like the middle 15 minutes of the race. What did I miss?
No, I'm sorry. I just looked up and I saw your bucket. Who else you can see your bucket in the foot cam?
Oh, look at that. All right, I'm going to put my feedback over here again.
Yeah.
All right, well, there's the vomit bucket if it really comes to it, but I don't think it's going to be the case tonight, fortunately. Sorry, guys.
I don't apologize. It's funny.
Yeah, that was a nice laugh. I will never get over the ugliness of racing shoes. Like put your foot in the camera. Give everyone a little look. Yeah, there you go. Ooh.
For everyone who is into feet.
Oh,
I think
great.
they're pretty cool. I like the colors.
I know they're like the nicest kind that you can get. You know, like they're up there with like,
they're really good driving with.
I know, but I just.
And they're fireproof, so.
Great. Perfect.
No, I know. They're not. I will say they're not terribly comfortable to spend a lot of time walking around in, but that's not what they are for. Don't ever buy a pair of racing shoes and like wear them out in public because your feet will be telling you it was a bad idea within the first 100 steps. But that's not what they're
We'll
for.
also look at you like you're crazy for wearing racing shoes.
Yeah, they're shoes that are not meant for walking. So these boots are not meant for walking. Not made for walking. Was that too easy for me to make that joke? No. Silence. Crickets. Okay.
Crickets for you.
Cricket.
I loved it.
These boots aren't made for. All right, I'm gonna stop.
Okay, so next time you're gonna wear those little toe shoes.
The shoes that have little spots where your toes to go into. I hate them.
Yeah,
there is
Greg
nothing-
doesn't own those.
There is nothing more disgusting in my eyes than those things.
They're the most comfortable shoe I've ever worn. I don't care what they look like. They're really nice to wear.
Greg has a pair.
I'm disgusted, Greg. I thought you were better than this.
I haven't worn them in a long time because she won't let me.
Don't wear
That's
them
not-
ever again.
That's unfair. He can wear what he wants, but I will be judging him when he's wearing them. And if they were
just
comfortable,
wherever you want.
if I liked them, I would wear them because I get the comfort of the shoe, but
They're not really
They're not
shoes
comfortable.
because they're gloves for your feet. So it feels like you're walking barefoot,
Ugh,
and
right?
you're just not like cutting your feet on stones and stuff. They're nice for wearing to the beach and in the water and whatnot. We'll take left side
If I
tire.
saw you wearing those on the beach, I would point at you and laugh.
Yeah.
I think it's a northeastern thing.
Shoes are great for hiking. Are you talking about the racing shoes or the Vibram? The racing shoes
Oh
are
my God.
not good for hiking.
We need like
The
a.
Vibram the foot toe thing, whatever's, are very good for hiking. In my opinion. I haven't worn them. I haven't driven the sim in them before. Maybe we should try that out sometime.
No, I actually think
Do
you
not
should.
drive the sim with them, please.
I'm genuinely interested to see
I will
if
never
it's
touch
like...
those pedals again.
Are you kidding me? We've had.
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to do an all-star.
We're
Like
gonna
we've
get
had people
Vibram
in socks in
sponsored.
there. Those aren't worse than the people in the socks.
Yeah. I need to get a new pair. The pair I have are ancient and falling apart. So, thanks for bringing it up. Now I'm going to buy a pair because I really want them again now that we're talking about it.
Oops.
There you go. Thanks for
So-
joining, Josiah from Uplick Racing. We, like we said at the beginning, we only had Josiah did a really good job of throwing together a livery for this thing with like the 48 hours that we had to put something together. I'll show it off after we're done with the race here tonight. But you guys can see the image. Which direction am I pointing? Yeah, up there, right? That way? Yeah, there we go. Pointing that direction. There we go. Where's the car? It looks awesome. I love how the McLaren looks. Still a Ferrari fan, but McLaren GT3 looks really good. All right, GTP field has pulled away. LMP2s are going off now. Like that we at least get a full pace lap here. So we ended up qualifying, it looks like 13th out of 23, so we're mid-pack. And it looks like more than every other car is a McLaren right now. There's one to my left, there's one in front of me, I see three more up there. So with that also in mind in terms of throttle percentage that equals fuel burn, I'm going to try to manage doing this with whatever gear makes the most sense for us to not burn any more fuel than we need to. We should still be safe, but you know, want to bring as much as we can. Try to do some heavy brake stands, put some heat in the brakes, into the wheels. GTPs are in the S's now. What are you guys talking about back there? I'm just talking to myself out here, and I realize you guys are having a full conversation.
We're stalking some the guy in front of you's Twitch channel. And we posted behind. They were behind him, and we turned on the audio, and all here's he's cutting out pretty bad. So we
Don't
just
make
talked
fun.
about
We
it.
were having problems with
We're
ours
not making
too.
fun of him. It's only funny because we have issues ourselves. It's relatable.
Oh, Captain Sane? Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah.
All right, cool. That must be Ryan Pagel. Pagel? Hope I'm pronouncing that right. He can't pronounce my name either, so it's okay.
Yeah, we were just having a good giggle because Garrett was like, "Hey, we should listen to him," and we listened to it, and it's just the chop, and it's the same chop that we got. And it's just like, it's ironic and funny and fun all at the same time.
Yeah.
But
All right.
let's go,
We'll be
Chicane
racing
Club.
Do this. We're gonna be racing any second here.
Let's go, America. Good luck. Have fun.
Yeah, let's do this. Let's go. All right, let's survive the first couple corners here. Oh, might have been overly aggressive. Not staying flat here. I made this mistake last time. That's it right there. And it looks like we're going 2, 3 wide. All right. I'll leave some room. All right, let's work on picking up some pace here. Getting some heat in the tires. Got a good draft in the AMG. Do I go for it? Do I go for it? Do I go for it? Yes, I am. Nothing to put the pressure on right now and defend from behind. What I am concerned about that we talked about earlier today is that all of the new A-Class drivers who are now able to drive GTPs for the first time ever are probably in this session tonight, and I'm concerned that they haven't fully learned how to respect driving around GT cars yet. So let's hope that they're able to play nicely tonight. Might be leaving them a little bit extra.
So is Ghost Racing. Those that have been following the more podiums. Haven't posted in a while, but I was doing a ghost race, and yeah, just simply not wrecking out in the Porsche Cup at the Red Bull Ring right now in rain is the key to a podium. Is just keep it consistent.
Survive.
Yeah, be aggressive, but not really aggressive, and hedge your bets and judge your risk, and you'll do all right.
Yep. Being smart is just as important as being fast in longer form racing.
Speaking
I
of
would
long,
just love to. Sorry about that.
go right ahead.
I was gonna say I would just love to be able to finish without any mistakes tonight. I'm not really focused on a crazy result or being some superhero. You always learn the most in a race, so I'm just gonna focus on learning as much as I can here tonight.
Have fun, have fun.
Judge that entry a little bit. Not going to work outside there. Don't you dare turn me. Don't turn me. Do not turn me. Do not pit maneuver me. I like the McLaren F1 GTR livery from the old F1 car. That's cool.
We've got elbows out racing, but keep it conservative. We were just having a conversation about this.
Yeah. Trying to race fairly. Oh, multiple cars. Looks like all McLarens all spun out. Not sure what the yellow flag's staying. There it is. Puts us P12 right now. Got a Porsche that spun out on the chicane.
Hey, if this guy behind you is getting really aggressive, not saying give it up, but just keep him in consideration. One position is not worth multiple.
Yeah, no, you're right. Looks like GTPs are in the top. Yep.
Half second out.
Copy.
He's coming up behind you. Trying to get around this McLaren. Coming on you now.
Yep.
Watch out inside.
Yep.
You're clear. Get another one. 1 second out.
Copy.
He's right on top of you here. Just let him behind the straightaway. Oh,
Deep
God.
place to do that.
Dude. Jesus.
Yeah.
Alright, get one more coming inside. You're clear.
Yep. Wow, that's a late lunch. Okay. I'm leaving something on the table there.
Half second out. GTP.
Yep.
They're fighting position. They're right on top of each other. GTP, half second out.
Copy.
Two of them.
Hello.
Left side.
Yep.
One more.
Gotta love multi-class racing.
You're clear.
Good job, good job.
Half second out. Another GTP coming in.
Oh, there. No. Well, this is not going to be drivable. I'm going to try. Do I have a black flag?
Yeah, meatball flag.
I do.
Alright.
Oh, that sucks.
That would have been so, like, I don't know how you could have gotten around that, honestly.
Yeah, I could have decided the other direction. I'm sorry, I can't turn. Trying not to ruin this for anyone else. Darn. No, 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 no. I'm so sorry. Gonna get out of the way. Well, that's racing, folks. Not gonna repeat our win. All right, so let's take 4 new tires. And as much fuel as the car's gonna, this thing will not turn left to save its life right now. This is fun. Man, that really blows. This race has now become a test session. I cannot believe how little this thing is able to turn to the left right now. All right, let's see. Did our pit stall stay where it's supposed to? Seven minutes. Awesome. There we go. Well,
All right, do you want to go over the incident we just went through?
yeah, let's see what happened here. Let's see what happened. Oh yeah, front right wheel was so broken it wasn't even turning. That's fun. All right, let's see. All right, so let's go to the chopper cam. I think one of the Porsches or McLarens ahead. Got all out of sorts here.
Go back to the far chase. You can see more of the far chase.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hit the far chase. We'll see what everything happened there. Cause I believe someone got it.
That at all.
Maybe not far chase. Maybe go to the normal chase. Whatever will give you the flattest view. Yeah, then especially space bar. Yep, orange McLaren got all loose, and then the other guy in front of you just completely overreacted there and lost the car.
He saw it too late. That's
He
not
saw
really
it
his
super
fault.
late, and then was like freaked
Freaked
out pretty bad.
Yeah, I had no time to react. All right, well, that's unfortunately a racing incident. I mean, in hindsight, I could have gone dove for the inside, but only if I'd known that that was what's going to happen.
You wouldn't have known that he was going to keep on going that way. It seemed, if anything, you would have expected him to like roll inwards towards the infield. So it was very much logical to go to the outside. You almost slipped it through as well, but there was really nothing you could do there.
No.
Just sucks racing incident.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I feel really bad. I should have gotten out of the way a lot more. I thought the car was going to have a little bit more ability to drive around the track than it did. I feel really bad for taking that prototype out right here. I'm sorry. Do we know who that was? Can we send an apology message?
If you pause it right where you're at, and then just go. Yep, there you go.
Ethan Reed 3. Can we just drop him a message and say
Yeah.
apologize for that? That was a misjudgment on my part. I did not realize the car was going to be that poor at turning. Well, it was a good race start. I think I might have been a little aggressive on the right at the green flag call on the dive into turn 12. I just wanted to see what was going to happen there, but it didn't pan out for us. So here, let's go back and look at that. Let's see, how much time do we have here? We got still 4 minutes. Sounds really good from this exterior view. Sorry about the stream quality, guys. I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Yeah, we didn't want to. We didn't want to concern you. But we've been having issues.
Huh.
Kind of going back and forth with the buffering. So.
Crap.
It's
Sorry,
okay.
guys. It's much more able to do with that live right now.
Yeah, I know. It is what it is.
Is Twitch more reliable right now?
No. It's going back and it's bouncing back and forth.
They're both bouncing back and forth?
Yeah. Some at the same time. Yeah.
Ugh. It's always something. Oh, the joys of streaming. See, that's what we get for talking crap about the other guy's stream, that his mic was cutting out, that our stuff is dropping now.
We're talking.
You were talking crap on it, I know. He's watching our stuff now, and he's like, your stream isn't even working.
Exactly. That's what was happening.
Yeah. Crap, is that still ongoing right now?
Yeah, it's been pretty much the whole night.
Sucks. Love how that stuff never comes up in testing.
It really doesn't. It looked so good. And it's funny because earlier, I think Josiah was like, it looks really crispy, everything looks good. And I'm like, thanks. And then, yeah, it's okay.
I wonder if it's at all because we're in the middle of a race now, and the amount of data that comes in and out just to join a hosted gaming session like this is very minimal relative to the overhead you'd need for streaming. So, right, TJ? Like, I mean, the amount of data needed to just run an iRacing joint session with 50 cars isn't really that high, right? In terms of network bandwidth.
I mean, I feel like it is, if you think about everything that's going on, you're keeping 40 some odd people all within a few milliseconds of each other, where if you have latency that's around 100 milliseconds to 200 milliseconds, that could determine a race, that net code. So, I mean, they got to be sending a consistent stream all the way up.
Yeah.
I also
Obviously,
have, yeah, I got theories about how they have the iRacing quote-unquote APIs and other programmable areas that Race Labs hooks into, but my theory is unvetted and doesn't have data behind it. But I have a feeling that Race Lab, some reason, increases latency.
Okay. I know it can be very processor intensive, but obviously this is just I would imagine more of a networking challenge right now.
Yeah, and that's the way I took it too. They should be calling into your local client and just pulling everything from local. Like, they shouldn't be pulling anything from the internet. So that I assume that they just hook into local processes, but I don't know. Maybe
You
it's
never know, yeah.
exactly.
All right, well, we should be able to roll off here in 10 seconds or so, I think. Or do we take tires yet? Did it do that for us? No, it took tires and we
Didn't know.
Yeah, you don't need to check that, or we'll just add it again here. The question is, do we have enough to get to the end here now? In theory, I think that should be the case. All right, let's see if we can recover here. It's going to be a good test session for us. I'm going to stay out of the way of real racing going on, but I'm going to try to focus on learning as much as I possibly can here. Fortunately, the GT3 field is coming through right now, so we're going to be jumping through right into the mix. Oh, McLaren jumped the gun behind me.
All right, you're
Love the field.
you're right in the heart of everything. Be careful.
Yeah, I see that.
You got GTPs and GT3s all over you. Stay inside. Stay inside.
All right, let's see what we can do here. I think the car is feel like the steering wheel's a little off center. But at least the car's
Probably is,
drivable at this
slightly.
point. I think I can manage this. Good to drive with a little bit of adversity. Looks like the McLaren in front is actually behind us, if I look. That seems
Yes, he's
correct.
left.
Yeah.
He was the one behind us. I believe he was the one who gave himself, who black flagged himself just now.
Ah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he probably got the limiter a bit early and had to get back in.
He did what I kept doing in practice.
Yeah, it's really easy to do it here because there's no indicator except for you think it's over and then can't really see that green cone.
Yeah, I see the stripe on the ground, and that kind of somehow tricks you into thinking that's where the line is, but it's actually
You
beyond
go,
that.
You're in a big old race car. You think I gotta put the power, go fast, and then they go fast, and things take over and
Yeah.
black flag it.
I'm starting to get back into a reasonable range. Yeah, the car's not fully functional right now. I can drive it, but something feels a little funny in the front end, and the steering's definitely not straight. Or the toe is, I don't know how they simulate damage and what they actually do with that, but it feels like the toe is nowhere reasonable.
Right, that's what the Porsche about. He's right on top of us.
Yep.
Or else, the my fact that's McLaren. I forgot Faf is racing McLaren this
Yeah.
year. That's gonna take a while to maybe get used to.
Did they ever run the plaid on the McLaren, or is that just kind of
we are running the McLaren, if I'm correct.
not IMSA this year? I think it's the orange car with like got like a plaid roof. So I wonder if it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
I don't know. 'Cause I think iRacing. We were looking at the liveries earlier. I'm pretty sure I saw the plaid livery like as an option for the McLaren, like offered by iRacing.
Yeah. There's Mr. McLaren, the other one that did that issue again. I don't know how he's a whole lap down now, unless he had to stop for 30 seconds or something.
He was down a lap when we were all leaving.
Yeah. Well, he probably had to stop at 30 or something.
That's we do have a P2 about a second back.
Copy.
He's right on top of us. Left side. You're clear. You got the P2 class leader approaching. Inside.
It is a lot of work just trying to stay out of the way. Like when I'm in these situations where like we've had a racing incident or 5 laps down, whatever it is, it's actually a lot of work to just try to drive and mind your own business and just be very polite about staying out of the way. It's much easier said than done. At least I can kind of have a pseudo race with this McLaren behind, even though we're on different laps. We're kind of just in outer space on our own. We might as well have some fun with it. Yeah, I seem to I think the other habit I got to work on with this car is that I keep over revving. The way the shift lights come on, the order that they come on compared to the Ferrari, the timing and cadence is a little different, so I'm a little late to the upshifts all the time.
I usually upshift whenever I hear the engine go bop, 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 bop. Stop. Pops. It's time to go.
That's one way of doing it. I'm not sure it's the fastest way. or the method
Or
that
the
you're,
healthiest way.
or the healthiest way for
Or
your
the way
the
that
whole
you're
top end of the
actually
engine.
appreciate.
Yeah. All right, let's settle in and try to drive this thing. Looks like we're free from traffic for a lap or two.
Right side.
Yep. Yeah, something doesn't feel perfectly right in the front end. It just feels a bit pushy everywhere. But I'm trying to adapt to it the best that I can here.
It's the fact that you don't have a front.
Yeah, is there what, no front on the car whatsoever?
That's right.
Yeah. I'm not sure how much of that is reflected in the physics of the car, because if there's no front end, this thing would not turn in the final corner. This wouldn't have any aero whatsoever, and it doesn't feel like it's that bad. I think it's a bit more of a cosmetic thing than a physical thing. Here, it would just drive in a straight line if it didn't have a front flip on it. But who knows?
Coming up to turn 6 in the release notes, they released that they painted a curb that was missing before. So pay attention for the curb that is now painted.
Interesting. Okay. I noticed a little pavement change over there. I don't know that it was necessarily a curb. I think it was like the runoff space is a different color than it used to be.
You had P2 and a GTP behind you.
Copy. Oh, I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah, that was not there before. That whole exit curb. It's just a painted surface, but I see that now.
In the release notes, they also stated that they did the retexturing of this track.
Oh,
P2 left side.
Yep.
GCP following suit. Another GTP behind you.
Oh,
No!
they just took
Phillip,
each other out.
no!
That was fun, Philip. Why did you do that? Kill Philip. Yeah, alright.
He didn't deserve that. He was already out of the race. Bro was just trying to have fun. Oh, no! Oh, that's heartbreaking. GTP, right side. Oh my god, it's close.
Looks like this is P2 and GT3 class behind me. I'll get out of the way here in a second. Gonna let them all run by here.
You got a few B cars approaching.
Copy.
You got one right on top of you. Right side.
Yep.
Another one right side.
Copy.
One more left side.
Alright, leave
And
the club. Inside. The stream quality picking up at all for anyone? Guys?
No, it's pretty consistently poor. According to the error messages, it's once every 4 minutes.
Sorry, guys. We will look into that and try to get it resolved for next week. You're not missing
It
much.
hasn't been buffering as much though. It was the middle of the race that was okay. I spoke too soon. It's buffering. Never mind. Never mind.
you got two PTs behind you.
Copy.
This one's right on top of you. I'll make him move. Left side. And you're clear. There he goes. One more, 2 seconds out.
Copy. Here, I'll just let him move.
GTP, 3 seconds out. Make it 2 now. He's just right on top of us. Right side.
Yep.
One more. Right on top of us. Left side. I will say the cyan wheels on the yellow caddy is a bold choice.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, oh, okay, all right. Well, you won't miss him
So-
going by.
Paste blue.
Minty fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does not want to turn to the left at all. Could be clear for at least a whole lap here. Oh, come on, turn to the left. Come on.
You want to get that crunch into the mic?
I mean, we got nothing
Do
to
it for the
lose.
views.
Just get us
Do
a
it for
good
the
crunch in
views.
there. We're already scuffed enough.
Yeah, do an
Hear the tips for
ASMR
everyone at home.
crunch.
Okay, I'll give the people what they want. One moment.
Crunch, 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 crunch. that was.
That was a weak crunch?
Did you get it on yourself too?
That wasn't a captain crunch?
You got it yourself as well, man. Like. You're disappointed the folks at home.
I'll do better next time, people of the internet.
You know, there's a technique to the crunch. You don't just go in and bite it. You just. It has to be the slow, the painfully slow, like. Just, you know, you had to take
Oh,
all your
boy.
sweet time to make it as miserable for everybody possible. Oh yeah, you got 3 P2s there.
Yeah, thanks, Garrett.
Sorry for that.
distracted.
Oh, a bit too busy lecturing TJ on how to be a nuisance.
Next car is the Porsche in front of me, 5 laps ahead of where I am right now. So
We were, for one, you got a guy on you. We were just talking about that. Like, this race right now, I feel like half the field is wrecked out.
I
yeah,
think
there's not a
9
lot of
people are crashed out, like not in the race.
That's fortunately what we get with. I think that early in the season.
The GTPs, sorry.
That's what you get with early in the season. All the people who are new and upgrading, new to the prototypes, new to the GT cars, whatever it is, where I think. I mean, some of it's normal, just iRacing, chaos, but I think late in the season that driving standards clean up, at least for anyone who's somewhat competitive, because they've been driving the same thing all season and they're kind of really familiar with what they're driving. Or what do I know? That's just me thinking out loud.
No, I agree. The same thing happens in the Porsche Cup. Like, first 3 weeks, survive. And then after week 3, you get pretty consistent. And then into, like, late, you actually almost get, like, lack of participation.
Yes.
And I don't know why, but it seems like it's very much an inverted bell curve.
I think some of that is that everyone hits their 3.0 or whatever they want on their safety rating to get to the next level. Because it's late in the season, they probably don't touch it because they're afraid that they're going to nuke their safety rating and throw a promotion away. So, might be some of what that is.
GTP, one second now.
That's why the participation drops late in the season. We noticed, I think, what was the last race? Coda, there was like half of us wheel split in the race. Like, there was only one split throughout the entire day. And Coda is not everyone's favorite track, so.
Right side. Another one right. We're going left now.
Well, for what it's worth, I just got demoted this
Oh no.
quarter. And for all the people out there that are scared about being demoted, it's okay. You get to go back up. So I got downplayed to a class B from a class A.
Oh wow.
And
okay.
I it was due to safety rating. I was like a 1 point something. It was
Ooh.
yeah, it was pretty bad, but I was getting collected in a lot of races there. And Bathurst is where safety ratings go to die.
Yeah, that was literally the words I was gonna say.
It was that plus driving with elbows out in the Red Bull ring a handful of times. So
yeah.
GTP. On top of us. Left side. You're clear.
As much as I wanted to chase down that Porsche, it's not worth ruining these guys' race. I wanted to check. Oh yeah, we got enough fuel to get to the end by a couple laps.
You got a P2 on the top list?
Yep. Fortunately, it's hard to make a lot of bigger, like, race-style observations about this car right now with how broken the front end is. It feels okay on tires. Tire temps look good. I'm not really feeling much tire deg right now. It just feels like the car does not want to turn left. And the steering wheel's off center, which I can command. I don't even really notice that the wheel's off center, but I definitely feel that it's a little bit more resistant to going left. Guess we could have taken the optional repairs and that would fix that, but
Maybe.
extra half dozen. 5 minutes remaining, so it should be 4 laps, I think.
Yeah, about, yeah. We got a P2 at top list. Left side. You're clear.
Copy.
At top list.
I really enjoy seeing the fuel used versus fuel level
Left
in
side.
this car.
Yeah.
Also, fuel last lap. So I would say, good job, McLaren.
Yeah,
on
nice information.
controls.
It's not usually information a driver needs to know in real life, unless we're really telling the driver to chase a certain fuel consumption rate for fuel saving. But in iRacing, it's really nice to know that because usually you don't have a whole team of engineers like we do helping you with all that. So
You got a GTP right top list. Left side. You know, I just realized something about this car. The windshield wiper isn't just sitting sstraight up.
yeah, it's got a buried on the nests down. That's kind of nice.
Yeah, I didn't notice it. It makes me very happy for some reason.
Yeah, the Ferrari has the sole center one that just rests. Resting position is right in the middle.
Kind of dry. I don't notice it until like halfway through the race, and then it just starts driving me absolutely insane for absolutely no reason.
So on Reddit, there was a user that noticed in the new BMW GT4, I believe, that was released this package,
Yeah, the GT2.
that the mirroring of one of the decals on the front spoiler or the front bumper was not properly mirrored. It was just copy pasted and then shipped to the other side.
Huh.
And the dev team even put in their patch notes that they fixed the quote-unquote undrivable bug.
Totally undrivable.
Decal. Yeah, and like, it was awesome.
I sent it back.
Yes.
Can't drive it.
Can't drive it. I need a refund. Obstacle back, GTP, right top list, side, bar, and a P2.
I sent
Nice,
it back.
easy.
Assuming we're... Hard to say. I don't know where the race leader... Oh, the race leader's in front of me. Probably 2 to go at this point.
So Greg, I have seen that there's been a few posts on Instagram about a potential karting track near Fort Pierce. I don't know if it's live.
A karting track?
Yeah, it was a short karting track. I'll look it up afterwards and show it to you, but don't let me forget, because there was one over there that I couldn't tell what they were doing, but they even had some pretty cool posts about that. So I was thinking to myself,
Yeah, the B2, 1 second out.
Cool. That white flag?
this would be fun.
I think we're on white flag. Yeah, that'd be really cool. I know a lot of stuff about a real racetrack that's coming to Fort Pierce. The P1 Motor Club. We've been kind of loosely involved with that on the sim development, and our business partners here are going to have the membership there, so we're going to be all sorts of involved with that. I'm sure they are building a kart track to go with it, but not anything about a freestanding kart track in Fort Pierce.
Yeah, maybe I need to check that out. But yeah, I've been seeing there's other stuff that was popping up near like Tampa. Like my Instagram, I had like 4 or 5 places that are being promoted there with South Florida, and I think Homestead has one.
P2 right top.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah, Homestead has one of the biggest ones in the area, or in the state, really. I say big in just terms of how often it's used, not necessarily in size, but a lot of winter stuff goes on down there with karting.
And if I'm not mistaken, Nitro Cross and Rally Cross will be at Homestead in
Really?
winter 2024 or beginning of 2025, which I do plan on going. So
I will
FYI.
come with you. That sounds like a lot of fun.
That's awesome.
I saw Rally Cross at Fort Lauderdale, and it was. So, congratulations. Good race. Good race.
Yeah, that's a very strong P17. Let's see, how many laps? How many laps off? 6 laps off of the leaders. A Porsche won, followed by a Corvette, and then a McLaren. So, our guy, was it Ryan that was in the Mustang? It looks like he finished right behind us, actually. Our fellow streamer. How's his stream going?
Good question. We have not been keeping up. Yeah, no. I mean, I will say, I guess we do have a history of the first race being a bit of a disaster. That we usually pick up
Yeah.
better afterwards. It can only get better from here. You know, we can
Yeah.
only climb higher.
Yeah, it's only up from here. That was a P17 out of 23 GT3 cars. So there's actually, 6 worse finishing GT3s that finished behind us. And it looks like at least one other car in front of me that had wrecked out. And it looks like only the top 15 finished on the same lap as the leader. So yeah, kind of a messy race for everyone. But
Yeah.
I'm not sure there's much we want to look at there.
Yeah, we kind of already reviewed everything while we were crashed out.
Yeah. All right, well, only gets better from here. Does sound really cool from the exterior camera. I don't know if that's coming across on the stream and all, but this engine sounds really cool from the outside. All right, let's briefly look at how that turns into our race result. I think qualifying, I was pretty satisfied with that for a first attempt and a first week with the car. I think race pace was okay. I was just being very conservative and letting a lot of cars by because I didn't want to interfere with anything. And the car felt very resistant to turn left. I think the toe was knocked way out to outer space. So fortunately, that knocked us back to the 22s on iRating. Safety rating took a little bit of a hit. We're still above 3.0, so not really too concerned there. Picked up still, is that 40 championship points? We somehow managed 40 championship points, which isn't huge, but really much better than I expected for finishing P17 class. So, okay. Yeah, not much to look at it. Let's look at the GT3 class. Where were the McLarens? It looks like Porsche, Corvettes, and then a McLaren, and a McLaren, and a McLaren, and a McLaren, and a Corvette. and a Porsche and a Mustang. All right, so a bunch of McLarens kind of in the top end of this. We're going to look at the iRating data and see kind of where the results are. Yeah. All right. Well, nothing to look at championship points. Everyone wants to see me do something else. I'm a little nervous with how I'm feeling with my vertigo to do something that's off road and feels a little out of the ordinary for me.
Let's not do that one.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that another time.
Please, thank you.
And while we're at it, let's look at the schedule. This is actually this is spot on from what they projected it was going to look like. So let's look at the full season. So we started terribly at Indy. Maybe I'll do a spin-off race this weekend or something to try to make up for it with some points. Started on the Indy road course. Next week we go back to Fuji, the no chicane version. We ran that last season, and that was the race where the 4% chance of rain turned into a very real rain effect for us. Then we're off to motorsport track I've been in real life. I think that was the torrentially wet race we had last year or last season. I'm not sure what any of the
scarily wet.
Yeah, we'll have to poke through these and see what the weather conditions are for all of them. Then we're off to Spa, and then to Zolder, which is a track I have never driven. I know precisely nothing about. I've never seen a race there before. I've never driven on any version of a sim. I don't even know what the track map looks like. So here, let's look at it. What does it look like?
Interesting map.
Okay. All right.
It's
very Dutch, or this is Belgian, right?
Yeah, it's turn 7 is and turn 5 are in turn 5 you could like launch it off the curbs, but you will hit the bottom.
Ooh.
It is a place where you got to cut curb.
Love their names. They just jam race car driver names together and then they add suffixes on them. Jackie Expoked. Do you guys see that?
Can you read turn 8 for me?
Boulderberg Harspell. I don't even see what that is through the thing. Spelled Boaked. This is Belgian, right? I think this is Belgian. It's not German. Yeah, Belgian Grand Prix in the 70s and 80s. So, all right, so this will be an interesting one. I know nothing about it, so we'll do a little bit of a preview for that where we try it out for the first time. As you can see, I haven't even bought it yet. So, go back to the schedule. So from Zolder, then we go to Road Atlanta. Yeah, I kind of know that one. I've been around that one a couple times. Silverstone, driven that long in the sim. Never raced it in GT3, and I've never really spent a lot of time with it. I think, honestly, TJ, the only time I've ever driven Silverstone was that one session that we did together that one time. I don't know, a couple months back.
Thank you for that, by the way. Really appreciated that. And yeah, I think I finally started to get somewhat of a, not even a reasonable time, but I started to improve upon my mistakes from there. But that track is by far the hardest track that I've had to learn.
There's just so much to it, and it's all complex geometry. I do like the fact that it's smooth, and there's really not much elevation change to work with, but there's a lot of curbing, and just the geometry of the track just makes it difficult on its own. So that one will be a fun one. I haven't been there in real life yet, but I very much love the trip to go. And then we come home. We go to Sebring. Track Garrett and I have spent many days on driving in real life. I've engineered there a lot. Like I've spent probably months of my life at Sebring. So Sebring will be very familiar territory. I feel like that all that means is all the pressure in the world that we have to do really well there. The one thing that's a little challenging for us when we drive Sebring and iRacing is that it's based, even though they retextured it last year with all the new signboards, a lot of the curbing and the barrier placement and a bunch of really small details that if you drive it as much as we have in real life, they're not correct in iRacing. So like again, iRacing, and I'm like, that's wrong, and that's wrong, and that's wrong, and I have to relearn all this stuff. So that's actually, it kind of makes it a little bit challenging for us in an indirect way. So from there, then we go to Interlagos. I think we did that. That was the first race. One of the early races we did last season where we got taken out like turn 2, lap 1.
Yeah, turn 2, lap 1.
Yeah, then we're back to Road America where we finished 3rd last season in the Ferrari. Love Road America. That's going to be a good one. Then we're back to Suzuka. I'm suspecting that might be a very wet race. The first ever live stream that we did was at Suzuka on a very wet track the week that they debuted their Tempest rain model. So that'll be fun. And then we're back to another track that's very home and familiar for us, Daytona. So that's one that we were very excited to do well with last season, and then halfway through the race, we just got collected in an incident that happened in front of us, and we had nowhere to go. So we might have to see about bringing Shane in for Sebring and or Daytona. I was talking to him earlier today about that. And then the week 13, is there an official race on week 13?
I don't know if it's official, but they had to do an extra week in this series for some reason. There was also something in the release notes. The release notes are like pages long. But yeah, they had to do something, I think, with the extra week.
All right. Well, I need to read those clearly. So maybe is it like some leap week thing or some catch up week that they're doing with the schedule? So maybe there's a week 14 instead of 13 this season. Is that what that is? I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out.
Yeah, then stand by.
All right, we're gonna look it up. But in the meantime, I'm gonna do a preview of Fuji. What do they have for the weather conditions here? Well, I don't know if that's correct, but it says 97% chance of rain. I don't know if that's just how it loads in. Is there any way? Can someone? Another question, TJ, is do we know how to look at what the actual weather forecast is for the future weeks? Is there any way to do that?
Yeah, in the PDF that's released from iRacing staff that's on the forms does contain percent of rain.
All right,
Percent
well,
chance of rain.
let's see if we can find that really quick because I'm curious. All right, so that should be for the series. So sports car, IMSA. Where is for schedule? Is that would it be in here? I think so.
It was a PDF released from the staff. Don't download a PDF that's not from the staff.
Yeah. Where is it? All right. Well, maybe we'll look at that offline. I don't want to spend time wasting time, everyone's time. Let's just do a preview of Fuji, and maybe for giggles, should we just do it in the rain, just because? What do you guys think? Yay, nay? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Rain?
Rip it.
Rip it.
Yes.
It's pretty rainy in Japan, from what I understand.
Yeah, let's do it. Why not? Let's see what this thing does in the rain.
Greg.
Yes.
Blue tears. Sorry. Said we almost got wrecked by the same car in the last race. I was the Acura. The McLaren hit in front of you.
Oh, was that the incident that I got taken out also, I think?
Yeah, that was
guess so, yeah.
Yeah, that was the incident where that McLaren veered hard left and lost it.
Sorry, dude. That was an unfortunate collected thing. I'm sorry if I hit you. I was just trying my best to avoid what was going on. And in hindsight, it would have been nice to dive to the inside, but that's only hindsight being 2020. Yeah, that sucks. We were having a good on that. The guy that ultimately, well, the McLaren in front was the one that was sideways, and then the one I had been racing for several laps was the one that ultimately led to this giant wreck for the group of us. But I mean, stuff happens. I'm not gonna sweat it. I don't think there's anything malicious there. Such as iRacing. All right, we're just gonna throw on our medium downforce. Or no, let's try the default wet setup for this, just because.
All right, while you're throwing that on, I'm gonna read out loud. Also, yes, good game, sir.
Yeah, thanks, dude. Thanks for joining.
Divisions. Yeah, divisions will no longer be calculated at the start of week 1, but instead during week 13. With the recent split of the road license and our drastically increased membership over time, this database process now takes exponentially longer than it did when it was originally designed. The slow process led to extended official series downtime for the season cutover last season. This change will distribute the process and the workload while service remains up throughout week 13 instead of leaving it all for the last minute. The divisions that result from this altered process will be negligibly different. So it doesn't say anything about a extra week being added, just that they're doing processing sooner.
It's not racing leap year, basically.
So the division determination is done the week 13 prior to the season or at the end? I would imagine the week prior to the start of the new season. Based on your prior results?
The
Or are
way
they
that
gonna do it at the very end, and you don't know what division you're in until after the season's over. I can't imagine that would be fair to anyone.
yeah, I feel like they're doing it all in just kind of like week 13 instead of
Yeah.
because there was a multi-hour outage on Monday for the new season update.
Yeah, I kind of expected it's probably going to be the week 13 prior to the launch of the new season, so that it's not. I mean, again, I don't know how to understand what it is that they're saying, but
Yeah, reading it out loud makes it kind of difficult to understand.
yeah, I appreciate that they share that information, but it just wow. Okay, all right. It makes it a little even more confusing. All right, there we go. Just sideways all day long. All right, try this again. All right, so the one thing I know, you already switched to TC. So in this car, 8 and above on TC and ABS is the wet modes, which in real life are mandatory that you're in the wet traction control and ABS modes because it takes into account different tire circumferences. So there's not a mismatch in the way the software works, because if you don't do that, it won't even let you accelerate at all. It'll just cut out immediately. But iRacing, it doesn't seem to care.
I love the ghostly splash in your rearview mirror.
Yeah, the spray.
It's like a car length away.
Yeah. All right, so Fuji. I really wish this was done in the dry. This track is awesome in the dry, and the wet. I mean, I know it's Japan and it rains there a lot, and tsunamis and typhoons, and yeah, not tsunamis, typhoons, monsoons, whatever.
Yeah, not tsunamis.
Not tsunamis.
Yeah,
Hopefully
why
not
not?
tsunamis.
You're right.
I mean, I'll take whatever they give us, but the place is really fun in the dry. So I think we looked up last time, it has one of the longest straightaways on any FIA rated circuit. I think it's over a mile long. It's like 1.1 miles long, if I remember correctly. So that part's pretty cool. No standing water in the braking zone. That's nice. Looks like there's puddles at apex. Some streaming on the track out of turn 1. And then I dipped a wheel on the curb here last time, and that's what led to the spin. A lot of puddles there at apex. Long duration corner here, all third gear. No puddles, ironically. I really thought there would have been streams of puddles in the middle there, but oh, so far no crazy surprises. So long as I'm not driving in puddles, I should be. This corner is really challenging in the dry. It's going to be a mess in the wet.
Looks like ice.
Yeah. And there's puddles all across it there where the car's already bumping anyway.
You had a wet Fuji race in the Mercedes, and I believe that you did pretty
Ferrari.
good.
Last season.
That would have been the Ferrari then, right?
I don't think we raced Fuji in the Mercedes, did we?
Mercedes. We did Suzuka.
Yeah, we did Suzuka. That was a really, really fun race.
Yeah.
I love that
That's
place.
First ever green we did. Alright, I'll do one more lap here and we'll wrap it up for the night.
If anybody's watching this from my fantasy football league, there's been no foul play. Everything was validated. We actually were going in and correcting things. There's no foul play in the fantasy football league. Except for the one guy that did break the rule, but it's because the other guy broke the rule and also because I failed to post the policies this year. So, to all those people that are watching fantasy football, everything's Everything's okay. It's under control.
Sounds like drama.
That is a synonym for fantasy football.
Isn't that by definition what the point of that is?
I'm suddenly very interested in fantasy football. I'm here for the drama and the tea, so you just
Garrett.
sparked my interest.
Garrett, would you care to share your brother's fantasy football
Right.
program?
I'll begin with the first year's punishment. So my brother's office, they set up all play fantasy football. Very, very cheap buy into them. $100 each to buy in. There's like 8 people playing. So you win $800 if you win.
Nice.
But the loser for the first year, keep in mind this is the first year, this is not the current punishment. If you lost, you had to enlist in the National Guard. Yeah.
And they're not kidding.
They were not kidding. The only reason the loser did not, because he was actually active military ready. And then the current punishment is whoever loses has to drive to Miami and take a coach flight without their phone all the way to Alaska. And then once they arrive in Alaska, they have to convince a stranger to let them take a picture on their phone and send a picture of themselves to the group chat, and then call and let them know, hey, I'm here, so that they can board a plane and fly back to Miami, Alaska. So whoever loses is basically spending like 3 days without their phone, flying coach to Alaska, and then flying back.
Is there a direct flight from Miami to Alaska, or is like their connections involved? Like,
I
what
think
does that
it's
look
a
like?
direct flight. So I think you're just stuck flying all the way over.
I don't know if
you're
that's
just
better or
screwed.
worse. Get it over with, or just be miserable for
No, because with the
36 hours.
layovers, then you at least get to walk around and do things. No, this was like they wanted whoever loses to really suffer. I mean, like, if you get a layover, you can walk around and do things. No, this is just you sit there and you look outside and you just figure out something to do because there's nothing. I don't really think you're gonna have the time of your life.
You shouldn't be allowed to have a credit
And
card.
coach,
Like, you should have to do it with like a $20 bill. Like, you can't even buy food or
God.
drinks or anything like that. I mean, I don't want to be involved with that. I do not care about fantasy football enough to to be willing to put that on the line. So
Wayne is very much worried right now because he screwed up his draft and whoever he chose is basically out of the season, so it's not looking very good for him already.
All right, well, let's wrap this thing up for the night. All right, so not a fantastic start to the season. We had a good run there, kind of chasing around the middle of the pack, and then unfortunately got collected in an incident that just unfolded in front of us, and we had nowhere to go. So it's okay. We'll focus forward on Fuji this week. We'll definitely get some more time to get a lot. I want to take some time to get really comfortable with this car, far more than I did get a chance to today. We'll drive it a lot. We'll dig into finding out whether Fuji is going to be a wet race or a dry race, and then we'll have Angelo back next week so we can start really digging into the setup and exposing what we can about this car to learn and how we can make it go faster, how can we make it work better for me. So, yeah, if you're watching us for the first time, please, we're small. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and try to tune into some of our future stuff. We do one of these every single week, every Wednesday night, 8 o'clock Eastern time. We really focus on just doing the IMSA sports car championship with a GT3 car, a new car every single season. I think we're going to move into a different league or a different series for future seasons, but we're going to at least run this entire next season here. I'm not an alien. I'm a regular dude. Well, I'm a regular sim driver. My background is as an actual motorsports engineer, so I've done this from the pit lane many times, and I'm just kind of a good sim racer. On the Chicane Club, if you're joining us and you're not familiar with what this is or why we're doing this right now, yeah, we have a pretty cool setup here. So I'm sitting in a fully loaded CXC Motion Pro 2 driving simulator, fully kitted out with a bunch of custom options. And there's actually a second one right over there on the other side of my right screen that we have linked together here. We've built a total social club around the whole thing. Really cool lounge over that direction. We've got the team behind me in the command center. You can kind of see in the background over there. We built a members only club. So if you're anywhere near us here in South Florida, we're based in Jupiter, which is just about 20 minutes north of West Palm Beach. this is just our pilot location, and we've already grown very rapidly. We've got a lot of great members. Some of them are on the chat tonight. I know Dr. Mike is a member. Josiah's in here all the time. TJ's a member. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff, cool stuff going on in here. We do a lot of members-only events where we come in and do some stuff that's more focused on driving technique. We do social events. We can host private parties. We do one-on-one driver training, regardless of what your focus is, whether you're a total amateur or you're going to race in the Daytona 24 yourself in real life. So anything in the sim world, if you're here in South Florida, you got to come check it out, what we do. If you have any questions, shoot us a message at info@thechicane.club. Drop a message in the chat, or find us on any of our social media channels. Yeah, love having everyone here. So again, please, if you're new, please like, comment, and subscribe, and we'd love to have you back. So as always, this would not happen without the support of all of our partners and sponsors here. We'll start off with Anze Suspension tonight. Angelo, unfortunately, is not in the building, but Anze Suspension is the premier shock and race car damper rebuilder and service shop here based in Jupiter, Florida. Really, they service the entire planet. I think he said he shipped to 6 of the 7 continents. So if you have race car dampers or shocks, you need them rebuilt, you need them spec'd out, you need them tested, whatever it is, Angelo will help you out. And he'll be back in all of our future weeks to help out with the engineering setup on the car. Southway Capital, they're our business partners in developing this project here. They're fantastic. So that's Wayne in the office guys that we're literally talking about with the fantasy football league. So they help us a lot on the business development back end side with everything we have going on. And as we've said for a while now, we're still not ready to take the wraps off of anything yet, but we are working very, very, very hard at the next iteration of the Chicane Club. There's going to be a new location that's larger with more sims and a lot more cool stuff. It's all in the works, about 12 to 18 months out right now. If you stay tuned to our social media channels, you will know when we share stuff. So it's going to be good, but we're looking forward to that. So Captain's Chair Coaching, that's Jason Dukes. He is my number one supporter in terms of my development professionally and personally. He's my life coach and business coach. So if you're looking for professional support for yourself as a business professional or in personal development, you got to talk to Jason. So reach out to Jason. All of our sponsor links and all their websites are in the description below. Rocky's Ultimate Garage. We gotta touch base with Rocky. We have a cool project going on with him that we're in the middle of right now. But Rocky's Ultimate Garage is the ultimate wheels, tints, wraps, PPFs, detailing, and sports car sales. So if you're based here in South Florida, you really care about your car. You want some fine work done to it, and you want it to be done by people who really care and really have a fine attention to detail. You need to bring it to Rocky's. I would trust anyone with any car there. So if you're in South Florida, you got to check them out. They have a really cool social media feed, so make sure to check them out. Decipher Technologies. So Decipher, they're the leading experts in cybersecurity and IT support for really any small home or small business. So they've fully kitted out our shop here with all the networking support, with everything we have going back. We've got cloud storage, and we've got a cell extension network, and they've remapped all of our networking stuff. So they're a huge supporter for us. Unfortunately, we don't have any of our sponsor logos on the car right now, but you would normally see it from this distance on the car, the Decipher logo. So we love having them here. They're a huge supporter of ours, and we'll have them on the car for next week. But Decipher is awesome. So any of your cybersecurity or IT networking needs, you got to reach out to them. Sawbelt. All right, so I say this every week. I love all the Sawbelt gear. I know we were saying the shoes aren't necessarily the most comfortable thing to walk in, but they're not made for walking. They're made for driving.
We couldn't tell
really good.
that you liked Sawbelt.
You couldn't tell. I'm only covered in all of their stuff here right now. Yeah, Sawbelt stuff is awesome. I've got their gloves. I've got their shoes on. I've got their 2-inch harnesses on me. I'm in the GT pad seat, and we're literally going to go. I think next week we're picking up actual racing suits for use in real life. I might debut it here in the sim just because, hashtag overkill. We might do that just for giggles, but we're excited to break them in a real car, hopefully sometime soon. So Sawbelt's the best. If you're spending any time in a real car, the driving gear is really important, one for your own safety, but also for your comfort, and comfort leads to performance. So it's not just about feeling comfortable and cool in the car. It's actually about it actually leads to performance. So having properly set up gloves and shoes and equipment and whatnot is really important. So you got to reach out to Sawbelt if you have anything like that. V-Box. We use their blue OLED. think it's just off the edge of the screen. You guys can see it right over here. The blue OLED lap timer display. So that helps me with my predictive lap timing, shows my instantaneous speed, and then it's set up to capture all of my center screen video and all of my driver telemetry. So when we do video and data analysis afterwards, everything is seamlessly integrated, so we can do direct overlays with the data and the video in real time. So it's a really useful tool, and it works just the same way as you would with a VBox system, a video and data capture system, in a real race car. So if you've got a race car, you need a VBox. If you've got a sim, you need a VBox. So if you have any questions about any of that, make sure to shoot us a message at info@thechicane.club. I think that just about covers all of it. Yeah, let's sign off for the night. But thanks, guys, for supporting back there. I know it wasn't a terribly exciting race, but such as iRacing. So there's always next week. So, but yeah, we've had Garrett
Next week there
Heisinger.
is.
Yeah, we've had Garrett Heisinger spotting and crew chiefing for us. TJ Moore from More Podiums. Go check out More Podiums. I think we got the link in our description for him. He's got his own YouTube channel where he reviews content and dumps some of his own races. He's awesome. And then my lovely wife Daphne, helping out with the stream, doing all of our marketing and all of our chat moderation. So yeah, we'll see you guys here next week, 8 o'clock, same time, same place, running the McLaren in a potentially very wet Fuji. But we'll see you guys then. Have a good night.